I do not own the rights to this music. Hello, and welcome to Sunday School Summary with Brother Ron. Sunday School lesson for Sunday, July 19th, 2026. Our reference material for the Sunday School Summary is based upon the International Sunday School Lesson Series as published by the Sunday School Publishing Board. We are discussing faithful witnesses in the Summer 2026 lesson series, and it is about men and women of the Old and the New Testament who testify to God's promises, accepts and acknowledges the power of a relationship with Jesus Christ, and testimony to spread the gospel or the good news of Jesus Christ. The summer lesson series is categorized into 3 units or groups of lessons, and we are in Unit 2, and we are discussing faithful witnesses say yes to Jesus Christ. The title of our 7th lesson comes from Unit 2, and it's titled Climbing a Tree, What Will I See? And you will see more than you can on the ground if you are short in stature, as Zacchaeus is in today's lesson. The key verse comes from Luke chapter 19, verse 5, and it reads, "When Jesus reached the spot, he looked up and said to him, 'Zacchaeus, come down immediately. I must stay at your house today.'" So Jesus recognizes Zacchaeus by name and invites himself to his house to stay. A corrupt sinner, a chief tax collector. The title of today's lesson, Climbing a Tree, What Will I See?, comes from the book of Luke. And Luke was a disciple apostle of Christ and a physician by training who wrote the books of Luke and Acts. And Luke researched and wrote the book of Luke to provide an orderly account of the events in the life of Jesus to share the gospel of good news with a brother who was new to the faith named Theophilus. His purpose was to clarify the gospel or good news concerning salvation through faith in Jesus Christ. Luke recorded the chronological life of Jesus from his birth, baptism, his earthly ministry, including sending out the 12 disciples, the miracles he performed, and also him feeding the 5,000. Also his teaching, most notably the Sermon on the Mount. And in this lead up to today's lesson, Jesus is nearing the end of his ministry as he approaches Jericho. So Jericho is the next stop on Jesus' ministry, which brings us to today's lesson. There are 2 summary points for today's lesson: seeking a divine encounter from Luke chapter 19, verses 1 through 4, a life-changing encounter, and that's from Luke chapter 19, verses 5 through 10. The passages for the lesson today revolve around the key words of faith, wisdom, encounter, and the word. We know that faith is the complete trust, assurance, belief, or confidence in God. It is the faith of Zacchaeus to see who Jesus was in today's lesson. And wisdom is the ability to apply experience, knowledge, and understanding to produce good judgment. It is wisdom of Zacchaeus to climb the sycamore tree to ensure that he saw Jesus in today's lesson. An encounter is a meaningful, sudden, usually unexpected, casual, face-to-face meeting. It is Zacchaeus' life-changing transformation based on his encounter with Jesus in today's lesson. And the Word is the scriptures inspired by the Holy Spirit that communicate God's will, laws, and prophecies as embodied by Jesus Christ. And the Word is to seek and say yes to Jesus as the Son of Man came to seek and save the lost in today's lesson. Our first summary point is seeking a divine encounter from Luke chapter 19, verses 1 through 4. And it reads that Jesus entered Jericho and he was passing through, and there was a man named Zacchaeus who was a chief tax collector who was very wealthy. So he was a tax collector for the Romans, and he was very wealthy, obviously, or probably corrupt, and the Jews hated him because of the taxation that they imposed for the Roman rulers. It says that he was trying to see Jesus. He wanted to know who he was, or to see him for himself, but he was short in stature. So he ran ahead and climbed a sycamore tree to see Jesus when he was about to pass that way. So Zacchaeus realizes that he must compensate for his short stature in order to see Jesus. Zacchaeus' determination to see Jesus causes him to put himself in a humble position. He was a wealthy man and the chief tax collector, and can you imagine him climbing a tree? Also, Zacchaeus was not concerned about his image. His only concern was the best position to encounter and see who Jesus was. So we need to put ourselves in position so that we can encounter Jesus and see who he is for ourselves. A life-changing encounter is our second summary point, and that's from Luke chapter 19, verses 5 through 10. And these passages document the transformative power of Zacchaeus' encounter with Jesus. It says that when Jesus came to the place, he looked up and said, "Zacchaeus, hurry down, for I must stay at your house today." So Jesus invited himself to his home, or into his home, and Zacchaeus hurried down and welcomed him joyfully. And those around the crowd began to grumble, saying that he has gone to the house of a sinful man. But Zacchaeus stood up and said to the Lord, "Lord, look, Lord, half of my possessions I give to the poor. And if I have cheated anyone, I will repay him fourfold," which was more than the required repayment under the Mosaic law. And Jesus said, "Today salvation has come to this house," he says, because this man too is a son of Abraham, and he is following in the Abraham law or tradition. It says, "For the Son of Man came to seek and to save the lost." So Jesus is saying that his crowd is in the lost. So that's where he should go to find them. So we should not be concerned about our image, but we should be concerned about finding Jesus wherever he may be, so that we too can have life-altering or transformative changes in our life through Jesus Christ. This is Brother Ron with the Sunday School Summary for Sunday, July the 19th, 2026. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed week, and we hope to see you next Sunday for another edition of Sunday School Summary with Brother Ron.